Okay, when you picture a Pomeranian, what comes to mind? Probably a living, breathing plush toy, right? All fluff, super cute, maybe a little bit yappy. But what if I told you that perception is, well, completely wrong? This tiny dog has a history so legendary it's honestly hard to believe.
I mean, first off, just try to wrap your head around this. That little ball of fluff, it's descended from powerful working dogs. Yeah, I'm talking about animals that literally pulled sleds across frozen wastelands. It sounds completely impossible, I know. But trust me, that's just the beginning of their story. And hey, if the whole sled dog thing wasn't enough for you, how about this? They're also survivors of one of the biggest maritime disasters in history. You guessed it, the Titanic. So yeah, this is way more than just a cute face. It's a story of incredible resilience, of surviving against all the odds. So, all of this begs the real question, right? How on earth did a powerful Arctic workhorse turn into this tiny little companion who also managed to survive a sinking ocean liner? Well, the answer is this incredible journey through history, royalty, and even a bit of science. All right, let's dive in, starting at the very beginning. Because to really get the Pomeranian of today, we have to go way back. We're talking icy Arctic landscapes. And then, plot twist, into the palaces of European royalty. Yeah, this is where the big reinvention happens. Okay, check this out. It turns out Pomeranians have a pretty surprising family tree. They belong to a group of dogs called Spitz dogs. You know who else is in that family? Huskies, Samoyeds, Malamutes. We're not talking about small dogs here, right? These are powerful animals built for super harsh conditions. And the Pom? It's a direct descendant of these Arctic giants. And believe me, their job description was just as tough as you'd imagine. These ancestors were not sitting on laps. No way. They were pulling sleds, they were guarding livestock from predators, and they were surviving in absolutely freezing temperatures. Every single part of their original design was about work and survival. So, what happened? How did we get from that to the dog we know today? Well, this is the turning point. For centuries, they were big dogs. But then, in 1888, one person changes absolutely everything. Queen Victoria. She saw a particularly small Pomeranian named Marco, fell in love, and started a breeding program that would completely change the breed's destiny forever. And you can see the result of her influence right here. The original Poms, they could weigh up to 14 kilos. That's over 30 pounds. Think about that. But after Queen Victoria got involved with her selective breeding, their size was shrunk by more than half. That's what transformed them from a working dog into the little companion we all recognize today. But here's the thing. Shrinking their body didn't shrink their brain. Nope. Inside that tiny little head is the mind of a much, much larger ancestor. And that leads us straight to their very unique personality. And this is the absolute key to understanding one of their most famous and, let's be honest, sometimes infamous traits, the barking. That constant yapping isn't just them trying to be annoying, it's pure instinct. They genuinely believe they're a guard dog, 10 times their size, protecting their territory. So let's just break that down for a second. Their brain is still wired with those same territorial instincts of their sled dog ancestors. Now you combine that with incredibly sensitive hearing and this hyper-alertness to any change in the environment, a leaf blowing by, a doorbell 3 streets away. And what do you get? You get a perfect, tiny little alarm system that thinks it's doing its job. But that big dog brain is used for so much more than just barking. These dogs are exceptionally smart. I mean, they're fantastic at problem solving, they have great memories, and they can learn new commands way faster than a lot of bigger breeds. It's actually why you'll often see them just dominating in agility competitions. They're literally outthinking the competition. Okay, so we've covered their history, we've covered their mind. Now let's talk about probably their most iconic feature, that incredible fluff. And trust me, it's not just for looks. It's actually a piece of high-tech natural engineering. The secret is something called a double coat. It's exactly what it sounds like, 2 separate layers. First, you've got this soft, dense undercoat for insulation. It keeps them warm in the winter, but also cool in the summer. And then on top, there's a longer outer coat made of guard hairs that protects them from things like rain, snow, and dirt. So when you think about it, this coat is basically a survival tool. It's their own personal climate control system, it protects their skin from the sun's UV rays, and it even naturally repels dirt. It's really a masterpiece of evolution. And this is why this next part is so important for anyone who owns one or is thinking about it. You should never, ever shave a double-coated dog like a Pomeranian. It can be catastrophic. It can permanently damage the hair follicles, and the coat might never grow back right. This can lead to a condition called alopecia X, basically permanent hair loss, which just completely ruins all that natural engineering we were talking about. All right, now we get to the part of their story that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a movie. We're going to shift from their physical traits to their just incredible capacity for survival and emotional connection. So let's set the scene. It's 1912. The Titanic is on its fateful voyage. And records show there were 12 confirmed dogs on board. 12 families who brought their beloved pets along with them. Now, as the tragedy unfolded, you can imagine the chaos. In the end, out of all 12 of those dogs, historical accounts confirmed that only 3 made it off that sinking ship alive. The odds were, to put it mildly, incredibly slim. And here it is, the jaw-dropping fact. 2 of those 3 survivors were Pomeranians. Think about that. Their tiny size, which let their owners just wrap them in a blanket and carry them onto a lifeboat without anyone really noticing, that was their ticket to survival. Their miniature size literally became a life-saving advantage. You know, this story of survival is really tied to their deep bond with people. Pomeranians have this remarkably high emotional intelligence. They can actually sense when you're stressed or sad, and they often mirror their owner's feelings. It's what makes them such incredible therapy and emotional support animals, but it also means they really truly need our companionship. Okay, so we've seen their history, we've seen their intelligence, their resilience, but I saved the most mind-blowing fact for last. This is the final secret that scientifically cements their status as true legends. So, to understand this, we need to look at a quick scientific concept. It's called the brain-to-body mass ratio. All it is a way to measure an animal's cognitive power relative to its physical size. Generally, a higher ratio often means higher intelligence. And here's the kicker. The Pomeranian has one of the highest brain-to-body ratios of any dog breed. What that means is they literally have more brain power packed into every single pound of their body. They are thinking and feeling and remembering way more intensely than their tiny size would ever suggest. Which really brings us full circle. After everything we've uncovered, from the Arctic sled dog ancestors and the royal reinvention, to the guard dog brain, the Titanic survival, and that exceptional brain ratio, it's just so clear. These are not toy dogs. They are, without a doubt, miniature legends. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know about the giant spirit and the powerful history that's packed inside that tiny, fluffy body, does it change how you see them? I'm curious. Would you own a Pomeranian now?